You know, I'm so excited about what this album represents. We, as a team actually, sat down and thought long and hard about the title. You know, should we use one of the song, titles as a title to the album? And we went away and prayed about it and sought God about it. And the consistent theme of all the songs led us to the title, Speak to the Storm. Because as a church, we every day are dealing with people's storms. We're pastoring people that right now, all they see is storm. It's either an addiction or the storm of poverty. You know, we actually go out into the community and we work with families on a weekly basis, and their choice is, do I feed my children or do I heat my home? And that's the reality they live in. That's not just an idea, that's their living, everyday, waking up reality. And we began to realize that these songs had become a reflection of the stories that we were handling week in, week out. The storms that people were facing in our church and in our community that we were reaching out to help. They needed something. They needed an anchor. They needed hope. And we began to think about all the lyrics and how they were leading people, even though they were facing storms, to the throne room of God. They were giving people hope. Songs about peace, songs about God's faithfulness, songs about a miracle can happen. They were the anchor for their soul in a time where they probably couldn't see a way forward. And I love that about this album, because I think it's so much more than just lyrics. It's so much more than great melodies. It's a lifeline. And my prayer is, as people get hold of this album, that they will be like, okay, I'm in a storm and I need something to help me find language right now. See, we all face storms. We face storms in our personal life, in our relational world, in our financial world. We all face storms, but we must never forget that we all have a voice. And the power of what we use our voice for in those situations makes all the difference. We can use our voice to complain. We can use our voice to panic. We can use our voice to, throw up a prayer that says, God, where are you in all of this? Or we can use our voice to worship. And there's something about worship that unlocks something that is very beautiful and is unique to that atmosphere that worship creates. Personally, years ago, I faced a storm. And my storm that I was faced with, I never saw coming. And that's when the doctor told myself and my husband we would never have children. And I remember facing this statement of infertility. This dream that we had suddenly was removed from us by a doctor's statement. And I remember walking out of that doctor's surgery thinking, what do I do now? And I know in those moments that worship became something that changed me. Because in Isaiah, there's a scripture that says, sing, O barren woman. Doesn't say pray, doesn't say shout, doesn't say, have a meltdown. It says sing. And I began to realize there's something about singing that opens the barren places of your life for God to do a miracle. There's something about declaring and singing and worshiping that gets heaven involved in a different way than our prayer time or our Bible reading time. And if you don't believe me, this album is the gift for you to give it a go, to actually put those worship songs in your car, in your bedroom, in your office, and create a space where you say, there's a barrenness in my storm, there's a barrenness in my marriage, there's a barrenness in my finances, and I'm choosing to sing over it words that affirm who God is, words that affirm that God can do all things. That's the power of this album. It's a gift of storms we've journeyed, and then the voice we found that's got us through that storm. And my prayer, and I know our team's prayer, is that though many will have a storm, many will understand, yes, but you have a voice, and they will use it to sing over the storm that they're in and watch God do a miracle, just like He did for me and just like He will for them.